illegal, immoral, harmful, fucking toxic. This is insane. This is fucking toxic. Cuck life, 100%. Live the life of the cuck. Why not? YouTube doesn't care. Illegal, immoral, harmful, fucking toxic. This is insane. This is fucking toxic. Cuck life, 100%. Live the life of the cuck. Why not?
Because I just want you guys to understand that means the world to me when I get a message like that. Like, it's been tough. You know, my life has been tough over the last decade. It has. And when I read a message like that, I'm sorry that I'm tearing up like a baby. But when I read a message like that, it makes me feel like it was worth it. You know, like all the shit that happened to me and all the stress and the mental shit that I go through on a daily basis, sometimes, that it's worth it because there's people out there who got something out of all of this. You know, it wasn't just some dickhead in front of a camera, you know, doing stupid videos. That it actually meant something to people. And that means the world to me, that there's people out there that, you know, for a decade, that they've been watching me and they've been following me and they've been watching my life evolve and how I become a better person, you know?
For now. That is business related, and I do still have it.
It's WWE champion time. Go, 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 go.
It's the money, stupid fuck.
I love it. Go, 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 go.
By eBay.
Hell!
It's been tough. I always think that it's my fault. Drinking gin. Yep, I'm toxic. I love Hulk Hogan's dick. My ass is so fucking stretchy. Oh, no you didn't, you motherfucking piece of shit cocksucker. Mark my fucking words. I'm coming for you.
For now.
Go, 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 go.
It's the money, stupid fuck.
I love it. Go, 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 go.
By eBay.
Hell!
Hateful slurs. Lame brain pieces of dumb fucking hateful slurs.
Why am I talking?
I love it.
Hey, Mr. Brunel, you there? I am present.
I understand. He's claiming that he's got $5,000 a month in expenses and only $5,000 a month in income, and net's about $35.
It's Kevin's fault.
The topic I want to discuss is depression. Depression is not a joke. It's not something to be joked about with. You are not alone. You are not a horrible person because you have this. It's not your fault. There's still this back here. And it's still in the back of my neck, the back of my head, the back of my mind, and it's always telling me. It's WWE Champions time.
It's been tough. Over the last decade. It has. It's been tough. It's been tough. Over the last decade. It has. It's been tough. It's been tough. Phil's a beggar. Phil's fat. Phil's a loser. It's been tough. Phil's a faggot. Phil's fat. Phil's a loser. Phil's a beggar. It's been tough. Phil's a beggar. Phil's fat. Phil's a loser. It's been tough. Phil's a faggot. Phil's fat. Phil's a loser. Phil's a beggar.
Super Meat Boy is in the stream chat, whining and complaining, saying that I never talk to anyone unless they tip me or they send me money, which is completely false. All he's been doing is sitting there all night complaining that he's depressed and don't care.
I don't dye my hair. I don't act stupidly constantly to get attention from children. I don't do stupid pranks. You know what I mean? I don't cause drama. I'm here just to play games and have fun. I'm a legitimate gamer. Big ups to your dad. I need banana, tasty banana. Put banana in my mouth, tasty banana. I need banana, tasty banana. Please the peel it comes in there. Put banana in my mouth, squeeze banana. Put banana in my mouth, in my mouth. way with certain mannerisms, certain over-the-top reactions, screaming at the top of their lungs, jumping, flailing, doing weird things, constantly on camera. I need banana, tasty banana, put banana in my mouth, tasty banana. I need banana, tasty banana, please the peel it comes in, then put banana in my mouth, squeeze banana. Put banana in my mouth, squeeze banana. Put banana in my mouth. I need banana, tasty banana. Put banana in my mouth, tasty banana. I need banana, tasty banana. Please the peel it comes in, then put banana in my mouth, squeeze banana. Put banana in my mouth, squeeze banana. Put banana in my mouth.
When we hit the 250 vestry for that celebration, I'm going to debut a new vest. There we go. Celebratory bubble blow. Very nice. There's bubbles everywhere. There's bubbles all over my PlayStation 4 controller. There's bubbles on my microphone stand. There's bubbles everywhere tonight. It's out of control tonight.
Hello, everyone. We are here. Can you hear me? Dead air was too much for me, so we decided to start it 2 minutes early for everyone out there.
Lucky people.
In the YouTube land. It's another edition of the That Being Said podcast, the best podcast in the world. And let me tell you, son, kid, boy, we have an epic edition for you this week. And it can only be described as a roller coaster, at least in the mind of DSP this week, I think. First, we got to talk about who I got with me here. As you see on the right side, unfortunately, Meerkat is out this week. Got to get the drama out. I'll read you the exact message he sent me. Hang on a second. Let me read the message he sent me. Hopefully he doesn't get pissed at this. No, he's out, though. Family thing, he's out this week. He will be back in action, though, next week, I'm sure. As for our normal, every week contributors, fantastic Mr. Sam is above me. How you feeling, Sam?
Yeah, pretty good, thank you. I mean, we thought this was going to be a slow one this week. Nice, quiet one, nice general, and then, as usual, DSP didn't disappoint, did he?
No.
Again, we've got 5 or 6 things to cover this week.
Yes. For a while there, we were like, we got to get a good guest. We were thinking like, all right, we got to get a guest that can kind of fill the time. We could easily interview Peace for an hour here. But then Phil started doing stuff too. It's like, all right, well, we're going to have a good long episode this week. But here we go. Certainly last but not least, our second guest ever, the keeper of the most looked at spreadsheet in the Detractorverse, a farmer of the Kiwis, the arbiter of BegCons 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's time for us all to break off a piece of peace. How you feeling? Piece of peace.
Hey guys, I am doing good. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
It is awesome to have you on here today. I'm gonna start with I'm gonna start today with a little bit of a quiz for you. I know it's your first time here. Might be nervous, whatever. It's okay. We got an easy quiz for you to break the ice here. This one will actually require you guys to remember a famous DSP quote. Okay, this is a quote that everyone has heard many, many times. I try to make it easy as possible. Your job is to write that quote as close as you remember it, basically. It's super short. We're going to see who can remember this better, Sam or Piece of Peace here, all right? So I'll tell you the quote, what you're looking for, okay? So this is the quote after the incident, right? The incident happens, and Phil starts talking. I'll give you the first sentence and the last sentence. You just tell me what went in between there. And I guess we'll need you to type it in the chat if you could, so I can, let's not spoil each other, okay? Type it in the Discord chat for me. He says, the camera comes back on, and he says, what is up, everyone? Then he says some stuff. That's the part you need to think of. And then he ends it with, I don't even know. Okay? So we start with, what is up, everyone? He says 2 sentences. That's a hint. And then he says, I don't even know. What did he say in between those 2 lines? Okay? Please write it in the Discord. Chat, don't ruin it. Okay? You can write in the group one. It's fine. And then we're going to compare and contrast and see who got the most words correct here. Very famous quote. Probably one of Phil's most quotable things ever. Okay.
Okay. Right.
I don't know if
Sorry, everyone.
Okay, so I got Pieces. Pieces answer is in. I'll put this here, and I'll share the screen. Don't worry, we all can enjoy it together. And we're on the dentist, excuse me, Sam, to put his in.
I'm trying not to read pieces.
Yeah, it's okay.
Just type with your eyes closed.
Yeah, I knew it was gonna happen. You can't avoid that totally. But
that'll do.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I've got the beginning right, but.
Okay, so let me share the screen here so you can see what I'm looking at, and I got these 2 answers here. All right, so let me make this all white so you can't see it. And then I'll display, not red, white. That's okay, fuck it. Streaming live is cool. Okay, let me share a screen on that one.
Smash this.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the share screen image here so we all can see. The correct answer is on the top. Okay, this is what he actually did say. He said, what is up, everyone? Hello, and welcome. Oh, the camera's on. The camera's been on the whole time, huh? Hello. I didn't even know. Okay, that's the correct quote. Okay, so Peace comes in hot with the, camera's on. Camera's been on the whole time, huh? I didn't even know. Hello. Beautiful. Here we go to Sam. Hello, snort. He did do that. I didn't write that, though, to be fair, but he did say, hello, snort on, camera's on, huh? I didn't even know. So pretty good. Camera's been on the whole time, though. That goes to Peace. Peace wins this round of Name That DSP Quote. Okay, so hopefully that was a fun game for everyone. Yeah, go ahead, Sam.
There is a meaty snort in there. I know.
Yeah, I think Sam gets bonus points for snort, honestly.
Okay, we'll give that one to. We'll call that a draw. Okay, but there you go, another edition of the fun DSP quiz here. But it's time to talk about our guest of the week, Piece of Peace. We all know what he does. He does the spreadsheet. He tracks all the tips. He does restreaming during the week as well, and the late streams. He's an awesome dude. Piece of Peace. I'm going to do the easiest question. How did you find the man known as Darks Fidel? What got you into this universe?
Yeah, so it was I don't know, it was like serendipitous but stupid, I guess that's just how it goes usually. But I was like if you look at like the lol cow sphere or whatever, the only 2 that I was really even aware of at all was Boogie2988, who is still a giant piece of shit, and Spoony, who I was a fan of. And so I watched, I don't know if I looked for, or I must have been recommended at some point the Down the Rabbit Hole for Spoony. Mm-hmm. And then I remember the sequence of events from there. After I finished that, algorithm recommended Wings, which I watched, and then from there it recommended DSP, which I watched. And then that was kind of the end of it. I was like, okay, now I know who this guy, because I've seen his name on like Reddit before at that point. And then and then that was that. And then eventually I got recommended a Tevin stream, and that's how it goes from there. And then you watch a Tevin stream, and you can't just watch one, and then you watch a lot of them, and then I'm lurking on kiwi farms, and then there you go.
Yeah, I think my first, after I did the fill down the rabbit hole after seeing the first This Is How You Don't Play, I think I then went to Spoonie, and I never saw the Wings one until recently actually. But I think the second most obvious question is the spreadsheet. What's all that about? How did that start?
Yeah. So I lurked on Kiwi Farms for a long time. And then eventually I like made an actual account because he said something that annoyed me, and I just had to like, I don't know, spurg out about it on Kiwi Farms and say like how annoyed I was, because I guess that's what you do. And then so from then on I was just like, you know, just kind of participating. And then when he got departnered, that's when it kind of hit me, where it's like, because I've always been kind of interested in like tracking how much he makes, in the sense of like, I think this dude is like hiding how much he makes, right? Which is, you know, he does. That's why he deleted the automatic like leaderboard shit. He did that on purpose, right? To hide things. And I don't like that. That pisses me off. And so when he got departnered from Twitch, like I realized that, and I didn't know this at the time, but you can track the YouTube stuff can get tracked automatically using like a Python script. And I guess Twitch, that could have been the case as well, but I'm dumb. I'm actually like, I'm completely unfamiliar with that, especially at that time. And so I was like, well, he's only getting tips now, right? And like Patreon, I guess. And Patreon is like a public thing that he can't hide. And so I was just like, well, I guess we can track what he makes now. And then I just start, like, I already had like a little bit of spreadsheet experience, and I was like, eventually I can automate this thing if I want to, in the sense of like the pivot tables can update themselves when I put data in and all that sort of thing. And then I just started doing that, and then you know, he got back on YouTube and got super chats, and then some people on Kiwi Farms helped inform me of the fact that can be tracked automatically, and I guess here we are now.
Yeah, definitely. You definitely, you know, it's an awesome resource everyone has. I mean, at least just detractors can enjoy it, because you know that people that actually unironically like Phil, they might see it, but it's not like they care, I guess. But my question I really wanted to ask this to you. I'm kind of jumping ahead in the timeline, but I don't care. I got to get down to this one. Is there a correlation between the special beggarment videos that we've seen, I think 5 or 6 this year already, and actual income received, right? So is it, I think I'm a little bit of a Phil apologist here. I would like to think maybe Phil has a greater plan. Like he realizes, okay, things are going down a little bit, so I better do this, and then I can expect this result. Or is it just random, and he just says like, okay, yesterday was bad, so here we go, I need a video. What's the truth, and what do the numbers say?
There's definitely a correlation. I mean, I don't suspect that DSP, like, I don't know if he actively uses the tracker. I mean, I suggest he does. If he doesn't, I mean, why not? It's a free resource available to him. But like, I don't necessarily think he does, to be honest. I think that like anything that occurs in the spreadsheet that's notable, his freaking mods or something probably message him on Discord. I don't know. I think that's how he does his whole life in general. But yeah, the correlation generally, like, this is what I've noticed, and I've talked to some people about this in like other detractor discords and stuff, where it's like, generally speaking, if he has 3 like what you might call a slow stream day, that generally is sufficient to trigger like a beg video. And then depending on, it can also be triggered in like a single day if it's really low, you know, like basically what happened the day before yesterday with that like $7 night stream or whatever, that whole thing. If yesterday was slow, like in any like big capacity, I guarantee you there'd be a begging video. I mean, we kind of got like a weird sort of begging video, didn't we? The thank you video. But,
yeah.
So you can almost call that a begging video in a roundabout sort of way, to be honest. There is a core, like generally speaking, like a slow day. I think the way that he measures a slow day is whether or not he puts that stupid hat on, to be quite honest. If he measures the amount of streams that he's gone by without putting a hat on. And if he doesn't put the glasses on, then God help you, because he's going to reach for them and hold them up to the camera and say, I didn't even put the glasses on, you know? So like, yeah, he measures it in a really stupid way, but he does measure it. And that is like, depending on what combination of things, yeah, you're gonna get a begging video.
I'll let you ask. Let you ask the next question, Sam. But I want to say everyone has a different Phil impression, and they all work. I don't know why, but they're all good in way different ways. But all right, Sam, you question.
Well, I think I'm just going to ask it how it's written here. I'm not going to add anything else. But Kiwi Farms, Gossip Forum, or Evil Terrorist Group? That's the question.
Is it a binary question? One of those two specific things?
Well, I guess which is it closer to?
Actually,
maybe it's a little column A, a little column B. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's I don't know. Like I think, like I didn't participate in this. I don't know, lolcow crap until DSP. Like I didn't even know Kiwi Farms existed, but Kiwi Farms is a funny place where you can be really mean to people who may or may not deserve it, I guess. But the thing is that I guess ultimately you determine who you should be mean to. Like I don't know 90% of the people that exist on Kiwi Farms in the sense of like, the different forums and sub forums. And I mean, they have forums for everything, right? They have like a gun forum where they talk about like firearms and stuff like that. And they have this and that. And so it's just a forum that's not controlled by Reddit Jannies, I guess. It's like you can kind of speak your mind a little bit easier. And the great thing is if you're a jackass, people are going to yell at you, give you a bunch of like autism stickers or political spurging stickers or disagree and you can like, YouTube gets rid of the thumbs down, like Reddit, you like downvoting is kind of whatever, that sort of thing. But like Kiwi Farms, it's still kind of like pure. Like you can call people out for their bullshit, which is kind of cool, I guess. So
yeah.
I guess, my question about that, getting deeper into that, what a lot of people like, seems like there's some people that really enjoy Kiwi Farm, some people that stay away from it. They think it's this big, scary thing. So, but what do you think about does Kiwi Farms go too far in terms of DSP, do you think? Or do they kind of, I know you're not in charge of all the users there, obviously.
No,
yeah, but you know what I'm saying though? Like, what do you think about that? Is Kiwi Farms too much, I guess, for a normal, this universe we live right now, do you think? Or is it fine?
No. I mean, like, again, like a comparison people draw a lot of the time in terms, if you look at like trolls of these lolcows, right? Like DSP gets it light compared to what a lot of these people get. Wings is usually used as the example, right? And you've got Nigel on Kiwi Farms. He's like a well-respected member who's run like gay ops and stuff before, like doxing. Like the whole doxing thing, I think is probably the biggest turnoff to people, because doxing, I think in general, is universally frowned upon.
Yes.
I guess.
Yeah.
So it's one of those types of things. I like the stance that I take on Kiwi Farms is like, I don't gatekeep what other people can or can't do. I think a lot of the issue that I have with like when it comes to DSP, you've got different flavors of, fucking trolls or detractors or whatever the hell you want to call them.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, it seems like they say, like, don't do this, don't do that. And it's like, dude, you're a single person in this like collective of people who aren't, like, you're not associated with each other in any sort of official capacity. Like, this isn't the SOK or whatever, right? And look how that went. And so just like, people are going to do what they do. If people try to run gay ops and they like come out and say, I'm going to do this, and like, wow, look at me, look how cool it's going to be. And then it's like completely falls apart. Or it's like, if you're going to do anything, whatever it's going to be, you don't like announce it and be like, hey everybody, look how cool I am. I'm like, no, if you're going to do a thing, like if you're committed to doing it, then go do it. And then if it bears some kind of fruit from it, I guess, then you can say like after the fact what happened. Like this, when you think about it, like from a meta sort of way, this whole thing is extremely dumb. And this is like me, the guy who like has a spreadsheet tracking his income, right? But this, like, you have to look at it as this entire thing is really, really stupid. And you should keep in the back of your mind that you can leave at any time. And if you're compelled to do so, and if you are compelled to do so, you probably should do so. Like don't be OIC and stay forever. Don't be like Swaggins and stay forever. Don't be like Jax Raxer and give him your car money and stay forever. That's the only thing I'd say people should keep in the back of their mind. Otherwise, it's like, do whatever you want.
Yeah. Whether it is the worst possible version of itself, or the negative place that people perceive it to be or not. One thing is certain is that if you need any kind of information on the latest goings on in not just Phil but anyone's, any one of that type of person, shall we say, that their latest going ons, then that's the place.
Yeah.
It's a repository.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
there's a lot of different. We are in the Phil DSP universe by making this podcast, right? It's how we're putting apart. Sam makes videos, Peace, you do restreaming, everything. Everyone can do, be a part of it however they want. Now, everyone has to make a decision kind of what they feel is okay and what is not okay. Like for me, I think it's totally fine to PieceofPeace is tracking literal public information, just putting it to work to publicly track it. Now, I see some people online all the time that are like too aggressive with their hate of Phil, kind of. They want like Phil to get hurt and stuff like that. That's for me. I think that's crazy. But other people, it's up to you to decide. How you partake in this whole silliness that is DSP, and Kiwi Farms is another place to do that with maybe less controls, which is definitely more positive than negative. But there are some crazies on Kiwi Farms for sure. Peace, that.
And there's a lot of hyperbole that gets thrown around too, in the sense of like, look, DSP is one of the most frustratingly infuriating people I've ever experienced in any sort of way. Like using all of my senses, like looking at him, listening to him, any of that shit. He is absolutely fascinating in how much of a piece of shit he is. Like I have never seen anything like it, right? And so when you run into that, sometimes you don't know how to deal with it. And so the way that I deal with it is I just spurg out. Like you should see me on the freaking Dark Dave mirror or the Raw, whatever, or even like on my restream. All I'm doing is saying, die, fucking die, you piece of shit. Like I it's like, that's how some people deal with it, honestly, because like, there's no other way to deal with it. What are you going to do? Offer constructive criticism? Are you gonna like go on his forums where K Galleon lives and like, write up like a 3-paragraph essay why he should improve like Das bullshit? Like, no, I'm not going to do that. He doesn't listen to criticism anyway. He's DSP. Yeah. So yeah, like I people might see that. People might see me flipping out, spurging out, whatever, A-logging and thinking like, oh my god, like he's gonna show up with an AR-15 and like take him out. It's like, no, dude, I'm not gonna do that. DSP is a summer ant. He doesn't fucking matter, and yet he's so fascinating to watch, especially with like other people, So I think that needs to be kind of understood, where like people may or may not go too far based on what you think too far is, but a lot of the times people are just dicking around at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think like you say with DDM, I feel like we've all been there. Like I try and come across as constructive, but when I'm in DDM's chat or any restreamer's chat, I feel like that's my place to let it all out.
It's a safe place. It's a safe place.
Yeah, exactly.
I hate to do this pre-question bag here. Trying to get the likes up, guys. Likes are the liquidity of this business, so please, if you could, drop a like. Thank you. Next question for you, Peace, from me. This is from Meerkat here, because he couldn't be here, so I definitely wanted to ask about this. What about in your, he left a question about selective transparency, right? So kind of choosing when to be transparent. And I know that's one reason you said earlier why you brought up this spreadsheet is because you hated that lack of transparency here. So can you tell us anything about, like, what's your thoughts on that overall, like DSP's selective transparency when he wants to share stuff, when he doesn't?
Yeah, that's one of the biggest piece of shit things that he does. I mean, out of the reams and reams of things that he does, that's one of the things that stand out. I mean, honestly, I say it frequently where it's like, if I'm on his radar at all and he wants me to go away, there's two very simple ways to do it. All he has to do is either be completely transparent with how he spends his money, because he begs for money. Like he's not a normal streamer where he accepts money for his services. He actively begs for it extremely aggressively, right? So either if he's going to continue begging like that, he needs to be transparent with where the money goes, and that's it. Then I'd have no reason to track it, because at that point, like honestly, at this point, like for example, look at like OIC. OIC saw the bank leaks. He's aware of them. He lived on Kiwi Farms. He probably still lives on Kiwi Farms, and he was aware of like how what that meant. Like you see tens of thousands of dollars to fucking Apple iTunes. It's like, gee, I wonder, right? And so the transparency for someone like him is already there, right? He's seen what happens, and if he chooses to give money after the fact, then whatever. But but I'm talking like the full scale, right? If that were the case, fine, no reason to track. Other scenario, stop begging, be a normal streamer, take money, do whatever you want with it. Outside of those two things, that's he's being selectively transparent, because like I don't care how a streamer spends their money. That's their money. They received it from streaming, right? But the thing is, like, he begs for money and says he's not gonna have fucking food tomorrow, right? And like TJ Gamebox posted on Kiwi Farms this morning. DSP has spent on the current WWE Champions event. He just broke $1,000. This is a single event. It happens like once a week, and that's a minimum. TJ has a very great autistic way that he calculates spending in a way that makes me proud, right? He has his own spreadsheet for that and stuff, and so he calculated the minimum at slightly over $1,000, and so he's gonna come on and beg for money. And then that whole shit where he's like, oh yeah, super chats, I don't get them till next month. And then I'll get them till next month. And then it's like, after 1 month, that doesn't work anymore, right?
Yeah.
Like literally after a single month, you can't use that anymore. But, then he has a Patreon with all these like goals that don't exist anymore. I mean, Slayer paid the $50 for his personal monthly video, and that's going to be real creepy, but that ought to be great.
Yeah, definitely want to talk about that. Yeah. Definitely want to talk about that.
So anyway, the selective transparency, really bad. Like, obviously you expose yourself to one time and you're like, yeah, this is abnormal. Very abnormal.
Yeah, that's the thing. Oh, another cat.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it would still be weird for him to beg as hardcore as he does, but if we could actually see improvements happening, you'd think it was a bit weird. But like, there's never any change. Like, I've pointed it out enough times before where everything stayed the same. Like, his streams look the same, sound the same, have the same content within them. Like, nothing ever changes. So I it'd still be odd for him to beg as much as he does, but at least, you could see some sort of improvement. Yeah. It's just, I don't know.
We talked to Steve of the Dead last week about this. I want to ask Peace your opinion. What does it take to be a Phil supporter now? I mean, I know the joke, yeah, everyone's retarded, they all have autism, stuff like that, but that's like, it's real. They can't all be like that. So what kind of person do you think enjoys Phil unironically? Like, really says, okay, this is good. Like, what is the average DSP fan now,
Yeah, I mean, he's effectively got I think 3 groups that remain. All the normalish all the normalish people, if they ever existed, like they don't exist anymore. All the normal supporters, they're gone. Some of them ended up in like detractor restreams, right? So that's cool. But yeah, so he's got his ironic, so he's got like detractors, right? Whatever, like they watch him, and so they exist. The other group is like ironic fans who generally they are familiar with the lolcow community. It seems like most of them are like Wings fans. I don't know if they migrated over from Wings, if it's concurrent, like they just happen to follow DSP and Wings or something, but they exist in this kind of like this kind of position of both a fan and not a fan at the same time, where they think they're above being a fan, but they actively give him money because they think that it'll make him continue existing or something. I don't really understand. A decent, like, and I think most of his whales actually land in this category. So like Review Tech USA, for example, Review Tech USA, I think gives him money because he thinks he's better than him. That's the conclusion I've come to after I watched a video like where he got really indignant about DSP like ignoring him yesterday. I watched that last night during my restream.
Yep.
And I've come to a pretty solid conclusion that he basically goes like, you know what, DSP, I'm better than you. I interview really important people. I'm the guy. I'm a Review Tech USA. And so I'm going to continue giving you money as like, I don't know, pity or something. Like you're below me, like you're an ant, that type of thing. Super weird and extremely dumb. And then again, I think like you look at like OIC, it's kind of the same thing, right? If you listen to that interview at all, where he's just like, yeah, I'm giving him money because I have more money than him and I'm better than him. But like the people who are his like unironic fans, right? Those are people like Slayer. Those are people like Derek. And who's left?
It's a short list, isn't it?
It's an extremely short list. And in general, Jax Raxer, I guess, is there. Here's the thing with Jax Raxer too. And this, like, so DSPs and Mr. Sam, you might have a better idea of this because you seem to be very cognizant of just kind of how, like, I don't know, streaming in general might work. But there's like a culture, right? And like I think what DSP is like ingrained. I don't know if it's like a Pavlovian response or something, but he's really driven into these people. Jax Raxer is an excellent example. I think Das Boshit probably falls under there too. Das Boshit would be an unironic fan, by the way. Where he's really driven this whole like equating like support with his like stream quality, his well-being, his happiness. Like I get that money brings you happiness, right? But it's different in the sense of that like he needs your money to bring him happiness. And the more you give, you achieve like a status of the guy who gives DSP money, and that's apparently a good thing in his stream culture, right? Like you did it, Jax, thanks for the, you did it, you're a hero. They do that. And I think there's like trolls in there that do that because it's funny, I guess, but it ends up becoming like that whole flat earth thing, which I think started as a meme, and then people like take it, right? They take it and roll it, and it's a thing. And so it's insane. I think so that's what's left, right? The unironic fans, a lot of them are the whales, and a lot of the ironic fans are the whales. That's how it ended up splitting, I guess. But yeah, it's really stupid.
There's definitely a culture. There's definitely a way to act, and most of it boils down to common sense. And I think partly it's DSP doesn't have much of that, if any. And partly, obviously, he doesn't watch anyone else, so he doesn't know how to be. His streams, however shit his streams are, they're unique. In the sense that, well, they're just unique. That no one else is like this, really. Not really. But I think in order for me to completely talk about this, I think there's a video in there to be honest. Out of that question.
Definitely.
But yeah, he's just I need to script that out and make it, I think.
Because what I think people get upset, a lot of people like take the side of wow, Phil's gets a lot of money. I get upset about that. He gets a little bit of money. Okay, I'm happy about that. And that's all fine. But what I think people can understand, and myself included, is these whales that clearly are somehow getting money. I know there's ways to get money that don't involve skill, like inheritance or whatever. You can get money in ways that don't involve being a smart person. But it seems like what Phil is putting out for what we call a normal person is so clearly insane, bullshit. Everything he says is a lie, and it's like, it takes someone of a normal, even lower than average IQ, I think, can understand when he says, hey, subscriptions help me next month, but I need tips tomorrow for I think it doesn't take too much to know that, okay, well, last month you got that, so shouldn't that be helping you this month too? But somehow these people that are whales enough to have money or and they buy that. So is it kind of the charity aspect, you think? Like, like some whales, like, you know what? I know he's being an asshole. I know he doesn't really need that much, but here you go, Phil. I'm going to do my charity because he helped me when I was 13 or something. I mean, is there some aspect to that, you think?
I think a lot of the aspect is that I think they buy into that give him money to own the trolls type of thing. I mean, Kiwi Farms talks about this a lot, where they like, I don't know, they envy his position or something like that, and they somehow have like juxtaposed it onto their own experience. Like they say like, oh, maybe they were like bullied by trolls, IRL trolls who when they were younger, and oh, that's happening to DSP. I mean, honestly, like ever since I looked into like Das Boshit and his whole thing where he simps really hard for DSP for seemingly no reason, and it ends up being this thing where maybe they see themselves in DSP. I mean, honestly, I think everybody can see a little bit of DSP in themselves. Like he's the really bad parts of you, like all like in one single human being. But yeah, they've developed this kind of, I mean, this is what that whole parasocial thing is, right? Like they see DSP, one way or another, right? Either they pity him, like Review Tech USA, or I don't know, 672 or something, or they give him money to make him dance, make him say something stupid, you got troll tips and stuff like that, and then but yeah, I mean, and a lot of them see him as like a charity case. I think Jax Raxer is a good example of that too. And they think when they give him money, I think this is like, I think a lot of them have their own probably like narcissistic tendencies too. I think a lot of them think highly of themselves, where they're like, it's like that thing where you give like a homeless person like $1 and then you pat yourself on the back, like, I did my good deed for the day. Like, I think a lot of it is that too. It's a really complex, for something so completely stupid, it is pretty complex, honestly. So
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, I think you're right in saying, you know, you can definitely see. I mean, I get that about you know, seeing Phil in myself sometimes. You know, that kind of dark place. Just, you know, to give you an example, like when I used to stream before I did this, I just streamed. I was, you know, no one knew who I was at all. You know, I'd stream to a couple of people, and you'd make friends, but you'd be thinking when you were watching them, you know, "Oh, how are they getting more viewers than me?" And you know, you think these things to yourselves, but these, you know, Phil just literally, it all comes flowing out of him. You know, it's, you know, that's the thing that you kind of you don't show that side of yourself. You know, you work on that yourself and get better. You don't say, you know, more people should be watching me, or more people should be supporting me, or, you know,
just
to your audience
because I deserve it.
Just because, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, yeah. It's we talked about this before, the kind of cult feeling that Phil, not, I don't think intentionally, but definitely builds it's everyone against us. His favorite word is we almost got the goal today. We too. We almost got the goal today. Wow, we almost got the tier 2 goal. Wow, we are going to enjoy this game today. We need to pick it up. We need to, you know, it's just everything. Where it's kind of this team, and we're all the same team. Obviously, he's the only one that benefits from this in monetary way, you know, but we are this team. We're up against the trolls and blah blah blah. That's just Phil's way, you know.
It's disgusting.
I wish the we thing was just Phil, because 99% of streamers are guilty of saying that.
Yeah.
I do see a lot of it. You know, I wish it was just Phil that did it, so we could say this is a weird thing that only Phil does. But you see it all the time, and it always makes me cringe. But it's not just him, I'm afraid.
Yeah, we need 100 likes, guys. We need that, whatever.
Well, in this case, that's true.
yeah. How about before we kind of get on the week's the exciting things that happened this week in Phil? We're talking about a picture. We're talking about a grape juice problem. We're talking about a lot of stuff coming up. But I want to ask this: how about what's Phil's kind of, you know, I'm sure you know this, how he does it better than anyone. Hiding tips, and you know, the 1 minute man always happens at the same time. What's your theories on that? That kind of the 1 minute man is DSP thing happened last week. But what are your thoughts on that whole timing of the 1 minute man tips?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we're talking about the topic of hiding money or whatever, you know, one of the pieces of the tracker, it tracks how he, you know, rounds all the cents down and stuff like that. You know, he just passed the $3,000 mark, and so we're about 14 months since I started tracking. So all that rounding down he's done is broken $3,000. Like, that's how much that rounding actually means. So that's crazy. We're talking about hiding money. That's technically hiding money. So anyway, in regards to the 1 minute man thing, I don't subscribe to the theory that it's DSP, like, you know, doing it himself. I think that would be out of character for him, to be honest. Like, I think the majority of the time, like, so, you know, his greed and his ego are constantly in a battle to see what like comes out top, right? I think greed usually wins over ego. That's why he makes these pathetic begging videos so frequently, it seems, these days. But yeah, I subscribe to the theory that it's a whale. It's, you know, I think people have fallen on the fact that it might be Planet Jeff. It kind of makes sense if you look at the timeline, I guess. You know, some of the points that are brought up where it's like, oh yeah, you know, there's no stream elements pop up, and he's never in chat. It's like, yeah, he's never in chat, and you're right, there's no stream elements pop up, but there used to be a stream elements pop up back in the day. So he existed as somebody at some point, and he just tips him directly to PayPal now. And so, like, I think it's more likely that either he just sends a flat amount daily, or he like sends him a lump sum, even, I think would be more likely than DSP making it. It's not like Cat doing it or something. It doesn't make sense to me, because he's technically like taking money away from himself in a weird sort of way. Like, I think the money he's possibly taking away from himself, because he made these 3-tiered tip goal things for like a reason, right? A lot of the times the $25 actually pushes him further out of range of the next goal. So if he's at like $26, let's say, going into the lunch break, then he comes back so he's $24 away from the next supposed goal. He comes back and he's at 51 now. So he's $49 away from the second goal. And he didn't technically make $25 if we're, going by the theory that he tips himself. So he actually puts himself in a worse position. At least he got put that glasses on, I guess. But like, other than that, it's like, I don't know. I don't buy it. These people that give him like a lot of money, they're so fucked in the head. Like, it's not out of the realm of possibility for me that they literally have him on an auto pay of $25 a day or some crap like that. I would not be surprised.
Yeah.
I'm kind of split on it, to be honest.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm just, I mean, on one hand, yes, I wouldn't be surprised, but like you say, on the other hand, it doesn't really make sense unless there's some kind of psychological thing where, if people see money there, then they're more likely to tip. Maybe, if they see that they're on the way to the goal, then they're more likely to think, oh, I can trigger the next goal. If we're at 25 out of 50, then all they've got to give is 25. I don't know. I don't know either way. It kind of almost comes across as someone that's worked in retail and stuff, like, like you have your float in the morning. It always seems like that to me. Like, just cashing up and putting the change in the till and making sure you've got that 25 in there for some reason. I always think of it like that. But
I think, because one thing Phil isn't is he's not an actor, so. The joy he gets from true large tips and large being, more than 20, let's say, and the joy he gets from a 1 Minute Man tip are extremely different. You could see the reaction incredibly different, right? It's like one is like, whoa, cool, thanks. He didn't expect that one. Those mean more. And when he does expect it, even the huge ones, like for the cat we're saying, which we missed an opportunity there to, get $2,000 from our cat reveal there, but he doesn't like the planned tips, even no matter how big they are, they don't get as excited, or you see the fake excitement comes out. So that's why I don't think it's Phil. I think Phil's not thinking that far ahead. But I think that it more likely to me is the daily thing. Like, okay, I'll give you to start the month this much, and then just 25 hours every day, wherever you want to do it, go ahead, Phil. And then Phil can just choose wherever he does it, right? That's easy, right? And, if Phil does, everything has to be on a schedule or automatic as easy as possible. He always does the same exact fucking time. That's when he has to do that tweet, right? And it's just, it makes too much sense for me to like, he does it exact same time every time. And I see that's why people might think, hey, that's Phil. But I think it is Phil, but he did receive the money as well, right? Real quick, I want to get your thoughts on the, I forgot what I was going to say. Sam, think of a question while I'm thinking real quick. Fuck, that's a good one too.
If there's a couple left that we could possibly delve into. One's about charity and one's about concealing tips, but we've done the concealing tips, so I think it might just be the charity thing.
Yeah, you had a video about that piece of piece. So anything you want to say about that, kind of how he sees charity, even though he is also a charity?
The reason he won't, so my thought is the reason he doesn't give to charities is because it's his money. So, the charity can go ahead and go eat a dick. It's my money, right? It's my money, not your money. It's my money. I did the work. Why should you get money? And so, he to me, right, he uses the whole like, oh, you should only give to charity in private. He uses it as just like a total like way to brush it off completely. The bankruptcy documents revealed he doesn't give to charity. It had a 0 on that, nice big fat 0. And so DSP is a great guy, and he's a very moral person. And so to continue that facade, he needs to basically say something to the effect of, oh, I give to charity, you'll just never know that I do, but I totally do. So please stop asking questions. Thank you. So it's a real big piece of shit move. All he has to say is, I don't give to charity because money's tight. It's difficult for me to do so, or whatever. Or for God's sake, he can say he doesn't believe in charity. I'll take that. I don't care. Just the fact that he has to lie about literally everything is extremely dumb. And he'll never give to charity. He doesn't have it in him.
And there's the one thing we learned last week is that Phil can lie in many, many different ways in all topics, no matter how much he says this is 100% the truth. Let me get to that being said, or this is 100% the truth. All those things, we saw it last week, guys. He admitted it. All those things were lies, and he is such a rounded out lying game. It's unreal, right? We all saw that last week. He admitted himself. So that's not me saying anything. That's from Phil's mouth. How many times in that stream last week was it, I'm going to tell you, what I'm going to say is 100% the truth. And then it's totally lie. Just every single word was a lie. So just remember that. Last question. I want to know about the begging tweets, right? Do you track those or not? How many tweets did he put the begging tweet out?
I've started actually tracking that. And so I went back a little bit. And so I actually do have those.
Okay, cool. So is that, I mean, it seems the temperature of the last week has been pretty beggarific, if I might say so myself. It's been pretty low. It seems like a tweet every day. Is that the case though? Has it been stepping up with the big tweets recently?
I'd say for this week in particular. So like the way I break up weeks in terms of like the tracker, for example, I break it up into stream weeks. So it's not like a calendar week, Sunday to Saturday. It's in general, it's going to be Wednesday to Monday, I guess, because Tuesday's his day off, right? If it's a shorter week, then that stream week is shorter, right? For example. So the stream week that we currently exist in, which is I guess week 2 of June, is it hasn't been like yesterday or I guess the day before yesterday was pretty bad, starting with that quarry night stream because like you can actually break up beg tweeting into 3, like, because there's like a pre-stream beg, a beg, and these are tweets specifically, right? He can tweet before a stream like, hey guys, can you please come support, like before the stream starts, like 10 minutes before. He'll do a whale tweet at the midstream, and then after the stream ends, he might send a tweet like, yeah, we had a lot of fun, guys. Support was really slow, so if you can come by for the night stream, we'd really appreciate it. And then he'll usually have a pre-beg for the night stream in that circumstance, right? So the day before yesterday, he kind of loaded up because of that slow, quarry night stream. But in general, this current stream week we exist in, he hasn't beg tweeted very frequently, and I think the reason for that is because the prior stream week, he had like the prior stream week, and especially the one prior to that, so 2 stream weeks ago, was extremely loaded with beg tweets. And at some point, I think Rob on Wheels tipped him and was like, hey, can you stop begging so much? He's like, all right, Rob, I'll stop begging. And then he got a bunch of like whale money after that. It's like, if you don't want him to beg tweet, you fuckers have to give him money. Like that's if you really don't want him to beg tweet, you give him money. Otherwise he's going to beg tweet. Like he finally broke and did it, with that quarry streaming. God, did he beg? Like, he begged so hard. It's just like, it was my lowest stream day ever. Like, I don't fucking care. How does that affect me? Go fuck yourself. Oh, wow, it was the slowest night ever? Oh, boy, I'm so sad. No, I really don't care. And I shouldn't need to care. So, outside of that, though, he's been getting welled up pretty nicely this week.
Yes. And I wonder if it is in response to that low, okay, wow, Phil's in trouble. We got to team up, whales, and make this happen. I mean, there's some kind of aspect to that, right? Is there a comeback when he has a low day, usually, like in the next few days? Oh
yeah, so his whales are very responsive to like beg videos, beg tweets. See, the thing is that it's like a fucking like opiate addict or a heroin addict or something, where like you need more and more to achieve the same result, right? I'm noticing that with DSP. Like DSP historically has had like begathons every like quarter or like half year, like at the minimum, right?
Yeah.
But he's only had 3 begathons since I started tracking, and every single begathon he's had less and less coming in from the previous, like noticeably. It went from like 1,500 to like 800 to like 500, right? So he has to like strategize on what begging tool he wants to pull out of the toolbox, because if he does the same one over and over again, it loses its efficacy. So like midstream whale tweets don't work like they used to. It used to be he'd send the tweet and literally get $100 from OIC immediately after the fact, right? But that's not really the case anymore. And so he started busting out like the beg videos. Now he's got the, oh my god, I hope he doesn't do any more of these like creepy thank you videos. For the love of God, please don't.
We'll get to that.
But he's I don't know if he does this like subconsciously, or if he like, maybe he has like a fruity little notebook. He like, okay, how do I want that bag today? Like that he has like writes down with a pencil or a crayon or something. But like, I think he just like, I don't know, maybe he's figured it out. Maybe he's like, okay, I need to do this for this week. I need to do this for next week or something. But yeah.
I like what you mentioned there, the toolbox, because that's definitely his MO there. Is what can I, like we talked about many times on the show, now it's only our 4th show, but I think we said it every time. What macro or micro issue do I need to bring up to make it fine for me to beg here? Or not, when I say fine, I mean like morally seem okay to me, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, tomorrow's my day off. That's the classic, tomorrow's my day off. I need some money for tomorrow. Let's go to take my wife out for food. And that's like the easy one. But then if it's like a few days after that, he can't immediately say, well, my day off's coming in 3 days. He has to say something like, well, my YouTube money's not coming for 3 more weeks, so I need money for that. Like, there's always something he can gauge to make it seem fine, even though if it's not fine, it's all the same begging. But it's Phil's toolbox. Like you said, I like that word. Phil's begging toolbox is pretty funny. But all right, I think that's good for our Piece of Peace interview. Of course, if you have any question for Peace, in Meerkat's Discord, we had a few questions. I'm going to get those at the end. We're going to go through the week in review, right? The week in DSP here. By the way, thanks so much for everyone that is liking and subscribing to the channel. Subscribers are going crazy. You guys are nuts. It's so surprising. You guys are awesome. Thanks for the positivity. Totally. But since our last show, the biggest event happened the day after, and Peace, I know you're laughing at this probably, the non-monetized stream was Phil's big charitable move there, not monetizing his old friends that he doesn't like anymore. Or I should say one friend. One was Howard, who is not a friend. But the day after, Phil comes on with the gall, with the balls of steel saying, hey guys, I need money. That was the best.
My God.
That was the best. Just the day after. No shame at all. That was the best.
Yep. No shame. Really bad.
Just like, we expected this though, right? I mean, I don't think I expected it to be the day after, but
that was the funniest.
It's like clockwork. I mean, outside of the fact that it's pathetic and greedy, it's DSP at the end of the day, but stuff like this is the reason why I started making stuff on Phil, because and also part of the reason why I have a problem with him referring to himself as a content creator, because he's not trying to put together a body of work. He's, imagine stumbling onto that video, for example. You've never heard of him, and for some reason Susan recommends you that video. You're like, okay, I'll watch some more of that. I don't know why you would think that, but then you click on the next video, and it's Skyrim Anniversary Edition Part 127. And that could be anything. That could be a nice, hour of gameplay, or it could be him ranting at his view. I don't understand his logic behind thinking that is okay, to do that, alongside his normal content. You've got this random video that's asking people for money. It doesn't compute with me, the idea of doing that. But
he thinks it's a necessary evil, I think, at the end of the day. Like, he thinks it's I think he's pignatized himself into thinking that it's a normal thing to do.
Yes.
Like, I think he's as susceptible to pignosis as anybody else, and he's done it to himself. And so he's because, like a normal person, you'd have this really bad like cognitive dissonance, right? Where you're like, I'm doing this thing, but I shouldn't be doing this thing, but I continue to do this thing, right? So obviously for his sanity or whatever remains of it, he's had to kind of justify it to himself, right? And so I think he just like, it's part of the cost of doing business. Begging is part of the cost of doing business. It's like, I mean, okay, I guess it kind of is. I mean, in his case, it is. Like, he gets results from begging, whether he's noticed it or not. He does, I mean, usually. So
yeah. So why would he stop, right? I mean, like, we see how ridiculous it is, but why would you ever stop that, right? If I put my hand out the window and someone puts $1 in it, I'm gonna keep putting my hand out the window, guys. We think we all would. Yeah. It's not as bad as it is. He clearly has no self-respect about begging. I mean, he clearly doesn't have that. He just does what he does. That's what he does. He knows it. Remember that one time he said, I'm going to be here for the rest of my life begging for bits and tips, until I'm set, whatever he said. I can't remember the exact quote. But he clearly knows what I'm doing is begging, and he's come to grips with that, because you have to. I mean, as a human that has a mortgage pay, well, I guess not anymore, but when he used to have to pay for stuff and there's credit cards, I mean, you have to get money, and he is right in knowing this is the most effective way for him to get money is begging. I mean, that's what it is. let's call a dollar a spade, I should say.
Yeah, it's probably true.
You
I
know?
just, it from the outside, from someone who likes to pick this stuff apart, it always just seems to me like, it'd be so easy for him to focus on making himself more appealing, and then the money will come from that. But like I've said before,
he says that a lot, right? He sure says that a lot, but like, I mean, you know what I think. I think ultimately what ended up happening with him is that he, like, okay, like you say, like you put your hand out the window and like $1 lands in it. So like for me, right, like I wouldn't beg for money. I feel like I would starve to death before I started begging for money, right? It takes like a higher level function to like, even if this thing works, it's to decide like against doing it, right? Like a reptile might do it anyway, but a human being has a choice because they have dignity, right? So what I think it is like, if him begging is the equivalent of him like sticking his hand out the window and money landing on it. Like, if you really stuck your hand out the window and money landed it, there's no like morality to that. You think that's like, oh, it's money, from Jeebus, right, or something.
Yeah.
But like we see him do it. He's like begging for money. He's degrading himself for this money. But I think he's like gotten so used to it that he doesn't see it that way. In fact, when I think when he makes begging videos, he'll often like preface it by saying, "Oh, I don't want to do this, guys, but I got to do it." He ends up like yelling at people basically for saying like, he's not saying I'm sorry that I have to do this, that I have to subject you to this. He's saying that I'm sorry that you fuckers didn't give me enough money, and now this is happening. This is your punishment. You get a beg video now. And I think ultimately that's just what it's turned into, and it's like really sad.
Yeah,
I guess actually there are better ways to beg then, and there are more fun ways to beg, or to humiliate yourself. If there's plenty of people that do humiliating things on streams, but it's fun for the audience, if you know what I mean.
It's entertaining.
So, yeah, exactly.
It's quid pro quo at the end of the day, right? Sometimes he doesn't do quid pro quo. Give me money and you get nothing.
Yeah. That's always the kind of the problem, the sticking point for me is that there's it's not a two-way thing. It's literally just, I'm sat here, I'm playing a game, you're sharing that experience with me, pay up, and that's it. There's no outside of him, if you find watching a person just play a game and laugh occasionally or whatever entertaining, then that's fine, but there's nothing on top of that. Is my problem.
Yeah, you guys forgot the special events that are just normal streams with higher tip goals.
I get to eat food.
Yeah, those are the best. Yeah. Here's a special event, guys. If we get enough subs, we'll have a special event. What's the special event? All right, a normal stream, but now you guys got to give me $2,000 instead of $150. Great. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sound good?
Yes.
All right. Next nonsense to get to is this. This is a quick one for me, but we got to mention it. Phil's problem in the grocery store was enough for a 5-minute story or something where, to the grocery store. Some of his, we had to hear the whole life story of gout, by the way. Well, how this drink helps him, grapes, grapes are a fruit. I don't know if you know this. A lot of people don't know this, but grapes come on vines, right? And on vines, you got to put seeds in the ground. I don't know if you know this, but you got to put water on those seeds, and then they grow.
He's talking about grapes, or he's talking about cherries, right?
I don't know, whatever it was. Cherry grapes.
Yeah, cherry juice.
Cherry,
right?
sorry.
He's talking about cherry juice for his stupid gout.
Yeah,
right?
nothing I could do. Cherry is what I meant. But yeah.
It's all the same.
Forever, the longest story of your life to find out they moved where the cherry juice was. And we got the whole breakdown of like, there's top shelf cherry juice, then we got the middle of the road, then we got the name brand. And the name brand, I need 2 glasses and it's like $10. Like, he has to put off this show like he pretends about the price too, by the way. Remember, he always does that. Every single case about when he buys something, he has to mention, well, of course we got the cheapest one because, but then I guess I'm lying because he did say he got that nice pizza this week. Anyways, a normal dude in their 40s with his 40 complaining about where the grape juice is at the grocery store was pretty bad. But I mean, it's a small thing, but that was fucking stupid. Sam, what do you want to say about that?
Well, you know what? Okay, he's not a young guy, but he's not old enough to be talking like an 80-year-old, is he? Like, I mean, that's how it comes across, and that's all you see in the comments, you know, old man Phil and all this, and it's just, you know, it's so true. And again, the other thing, if we're going to have to talk about this, then, you know, I'm going to have to go into my past in retail. So, so why not? But,
yeah.
Okay, maybe the cherry juice was a slow moving line, and maybe, just maybe, you were the only fucker buying it. So they move it to a more prominent location, i.e. the front desk, where you did see it, to shift some units. You know, that it's not rocket science. He saw it eventually, and presumably it sells better there. You know, that's all I've got to say, to be honest.
Peace, anything to add here? It's pretty fucking stupid, but
I hate this cherry juice lord, just because like so he says he doesn't like cherry juice. I mean, he buys this like tart cherry, like it doesn't taste good. He's not drinking apple juice. He's drinking tart cherry juice, right? It's like those people who drink like a cup of, what was it, like apple cider vinegar for some purported health benefit. It's like he does it for that reason, for his gout. Like, all he needs to do is take a medication that's been around for decades. It's called allopurinol. He takes that, and his gout is managed, and he doesn't have to buy. It's going to be way cheaper, even with his shitty insurance, than cherry juice. And like, he just does that, and he doesn't need to buy this fucking cherry juice anymore. He saves money. He gets better control of his gout, and there you go. So the whole cherry juice thing fundamentally is incredibly stupid. He probably read somewhere that like, oh, cherry juice is for like if you look at the like literature or whatever, it has some studies show it has some benefit, maybe some stuff. It's funny because there was a study that showed that if you drink alcohol, it negates the benefit of the cherry juice. So
well, good thing Phil doesn't drink.
So maybe it would have worked, but it don't work anymore according to that study, you know? So again, like, he does everything in the most convoluted, roundabout, dumbass way, and it ultimately ends up falling flat on its face most of the goddamn time, I want to say.
And
you can imagine him like Googling it, can't you? Like, you know, how to prevent gout. And it is like one of the first suggestions, cherry juice. Right, that's that then. Done.
Yeah.
Next,
Yeah, exactly. That you said it perfect,
and
right? Yeah, exactly. He decides it, and that's it. That's the truth of the world now. Phil decides it. Yeah. That's it. Yep. And then he has a fact in his mind that is, you know how many facts he says are just totally made up bullshit. And just it's ridiculous. You said it perfectly.
He doesn't source things, right?
No, at all. And then whatever he thinks, that's the way, right? That's the world. But I was gonna say, you know how he makes these days off like he's going to fucking, you know, a war zone. He comes back tired as shit, and he's like it's an odyssey. Going to the grocery store, running a few errands, getting gas. You know, it's like when you see life like he does, maybe it really is a fucking odyssey. Because you know, maybe, not being able to find grape juice for 2 minutes being this big of a deal, a mini rant worthy. I can't find a drink. Yeah. Imagine what a world that is when you walk around and you're like, this little tiny inconvenience is. Oh God, what a day!
I guess things are relative, huh? At the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it is a tough day for him if that's what you're dealing with. Imagine if you're in line to pay and then that aisle closes. You're like, oh my God, what the fuck's going on here? But yeah, it's that's a special Phil.
This whole thing makes me want to give him money. I think.
Yeah, me too. I'm coming to that conclusion myself. Chat too. Okay. If you want to go run over there, please do. Don't do that, guys. Anyways, let's get to the big news. Big news came out a few days ago, at least. This picture, and I guess I should have had one ready to show you guys, but I'm sure everyone in chat, you've seen it many times. And Peace, I know you've seen it. Sam, you've seen it. We all know what we're talking about here. The picture came out. And when it first came out, there was some talk about, is it really Cat? Not sure who it was. Meerkat himself posted some lore about a cousin it could have been. But as the time went, it seems like the tide kind of turned, and everyone agrees now that is Cat. PieceofPeace, a lot of chat are wondering. I've been asked the question a million times. Peace, what's your stance on this? Is it Cat? Is it cousin? Who is it? Come on.
I don't think it's the cousin. I think it's Cat. It takes a lot of like evidence generally for me to like put stock into anything, especially when it comes to this dumb shit like DSP stuff, considering how much gay ops there is out there.
Yeah.
But I think it's the same way with the WWE champions, where you end up at like a 99.99% like, you know, likelihood type of thing, and that's where I'm at with that being Cat. Like things like with certain facial features I think line up like really well. Things like the bridge of the nose I think is the one that really like stood out to me, and like going into the nose, and things like that. And I mean it makes sense, right? I think a lot of it's hard to, I don't know, it's like hard to, I don't know, believe, I don't know if that's the right word, but it's hard to like fathom, I guess, like that it's gotten to this point. But I mean it's not super weird considering like even like the general population I'm sure went up like a BMI point from COVID, for example, at least one BMI point, like
yeah.
The overall population, right?
Definitely.
Like Kat, she literally, one thing I noticed that DSP mentioned was that like the last couple times he's gone to the grocery store, at least maybe not this last one, but I noticed this as a trend for like several weeks where he's like, yeah, I went by myself. Like Kat stayed home. She just played Skyrim and stayed home. And I'm like, doesn't she usually go with you? Why isn't she going with you now? Type of thing. It sounds like she's just on her ass all day at this point, honestly. So I can totally buy it. And then all these other little things in regards to like the little things, right? The location and like one question I had was why the hell did it take so long for this thing to come up? And the story the guy gave, it like made sense to me. He's like, yeah, it was taken by some guy I know on Discord. We were randomly talking about DSP. He's like, yeah, I took this picture of him, like, and it looked like that dude worked at the gas station from the angle that it was taken at. It was like he was coming out of like a thing that like an employees only thing. Like if you look at the angle from where the picture was taken, right? Yeah. So it's like, yeah, I mean, like if I saw like I don't know, some like Chantal or something. I don't even know what she looks like, but let's say Chantal or like Amberlynn. I know what she looks like. If I saw like Amberlynn like walking down the street, I was like, oh, that's Amberlynn. And I take a picture, like it's just on my phone. Unless I like talk to somebody about Amberlynn like a year from now or something, like, oh yeah, that reminds me, I took a picture of Amberlynn the other day. It was so weird. I'm like, if this person's not familiar with like Kiwi Farms or detractor circles, he's like, if he just knows who the guy is, he's like, oh, that's cool. I got a little picture on my phone. And then he gets brought up a year later. I could totally buy that,
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
It all makes sense to me.
Sam, the chat wants your stance as well.
Oh, right, okay. I don't have anything too kind of scientific or, I haven't got an interesting opinion really, but I was interested in like early on with Meerkat's theory about his cousin, but then when you do look at the wedding photo and that one together, you can see the kind of jump to me, the jawline and stuff. But it's if all you know of Kat is what you saw on the streams with the heavy eyeliner and the eyeshadow or whatever it is, and that and then you jump to this, it's very jarring. It's quite surprising to see, but I don't know. I think it's Kat. For me, it just like I've kind of come to terms with the fact that it's Kat now. The interesting thing for me now is because I'm right in saying he hasn't mentioned it yet, has he?
Yeah, that's my point. Real quick before you get to your point, how we know it's definitely Kat is Phil has dropped the ignore it ops. Ignore it ops mean whatever he's talking about is 100% true. That's just that it goes from throughout Phil history. When he says ignore it, that means it's true. But go ahead, Sam.
No, that's has he even said that though? Because I've not really been watching his pre-stream.
Yeah.
Has he? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it's kind of explicit. He's like, oh, there's a new detractor meme going around. Just ignore it, guys. Like, if you give it any attention, that just empowers it. Just ignore it. Like, I'm like, that pretty much solidifies it.
Okay, it's Kat then.
Definitely. Yeah, last time he brought up those ops were the bank leaks, right? The bank leaks started. The strategy was just ignore that. A lot of people saying stuff, just ignore it. So whenever that comes out, that's okay. That's the truth. And because you know why? Because Phil has no way to spin this, and I think he's going to talk about it, but he has to wait till he has a way to spin this correctly, right? So what's going to happen is, in my predictions, is let's say Kat finds out about this. If she's on the internet, I mean, it's going to be tough not for her to find it. I mean, maybe she just stays so far away from Phil.
Allowed on the internet.
I don't know, but she's going to find it, and maybe that might make her upset. Like, I'm not too into this taking pictures of Phil and, like, especially his loved ones. It's not like if it's a picture of Phil walking down the street, you take a picture of Phil, he's on the internet, cool. But Kat, it clearly doesn't want to be on the internet. Her picture's there. I'm not too hot about that. But nonetheless, it's out there now, so we can't take it back. So she's going to see that, and maybe she might get really upset. I mean, we don't know. Once that happens, Phil now, if he hasn't done it already, which I'm not sure why he hasn't, he's going to take that as, you ruined my wife's life. trolls have ruined my wife's life, and then you get the pities going, right? The pity tips coming in. So that's gonna happen. It's just when, right? So he can't ignore this forever. You know, the trolls, they don't let it go. They're never gonna stop the troll messages on his chat. So it's gonna have to come out. But how long that takes, I don't know.
He's gonna take an ego hit though. He's gonna have to. This is where, if he were to do that, he's trading his ego for greed, because you know he's like, oh, I have this hot wife. I'm an adult, whatever. It's like, dude, you let your, you know, like you ignore your wife so much. Look what, like, shouldn't you have helped her not do this? You know, like, aren't you a partnership? Like, you know, in so many words. And so like he would have to bust that out where either it's like he's got no choice. Like maybe more pictures came out, or I don't know, something like that, where it's like, yeah, I have no chance anymore. And he's like, okay, well, at the very least, I can get some pity bucks out of it. Or he needs pity bucks, and he just falls on this thing that he has. You know, it's like his secret weapon or something.
Yeah. It's from Toolbox. Yeah, it's definitely going to be. I think it's going to come out later. He's going to have to, right? He always does that. But we got to remember though that Phil is the most awkward relationship ever, at least from Phil's side. We haven't seen Kat for years now, but that one video I saw, I put it on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter if you aren't, by the way. It's just me posting Phil crap. But he said, someone asked, like, wouldn't the trolls get pissed if your wife was a supermodel? And Phil's like, oh my God, the most cringe reaction of all time. And my wife's hot enough to be a model. Smoking body. She's really hot. And like, he is so uncomfortable. It's like you want to shoot yourself. And you know, it's normal if someone says about your wife, you know, my wife's beautiful. You know, that's it. It's the end of the story, you know, but he can't, that you're right about the ego, because he had to go to the next level. All right, she's smoking body. She could be a model herself, dude. Like, it just comes from a place of lack of confidence, right? And we know Phil doesn't have the confidence, but when you have to over explain stuff to the nth degree, it's so, oh God, that was so cringe. But I guess, go ahead.
I was just going to say that that morning, waking up to the picture, not only the picture, but then that clip that whoever dug it up found of him trying to say what you just said, was probably it's my favorite morning of waking up to DSP stuff that I've had in a while. I don't know why, but I find watching that clip, if you've not seen this, by the way, everyone, please watch this clip, because especially on Twitter, because I think it somehow accentuates it, but his eye does this weird thing where it looks over to the other, you know, the other way from this eye. And I was sat at work trying not to laugh, you know, at my desk about that. I don't know. It appeals to my sense of humor, but please go and look at it. It's brilliant.
Yeah. I'll post it in a second. I'm trying to find it right now. It is scary, but go ahead, Peace. You gonna say something?
No. That was really funny. Yeah, definitely.
The eye move. There's one eye movement. I gotta play it. Come on, I gotta find it. Where is it? You liked it on your Twitter, Sam, right? If someone else,
so,
yeah. But anyway, there's one eye movement that if you haven't seen it, it is scary, and it's in exactly that thing you're talking about. Where is it? You were laughing at it, Sam. I gotta find it. This is very bad content right now. Horrible content creators.
It's from I think it's 2018, a stream of him playing PUBG, and yeah, someone just randomly asks him about what was it, if something to do with a supermodel or something like that, and and he basically gives Kat this weird, really awkward compliment, and his eye does this thing where it just looks over to the side, and I just, you know, for some reason that got me.
There's a lot of physical comedy, honestly, with DSP. I mean, there's a lot of horrible, cringeworthy shit that he does, but there's a lot of unintentional physical comedy, I feel like, with that's why, like, when I'm a restream, I pause a lot, because like his face is doing crazy shit half the time.
Yeah. I was gonna say about that, actually. Like, I was watching a bit of one from maybe yesterday or something where you were doing the W poses and everything.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of really good poses.
No, it's great. It's because he's not just like not self-aware in regards to begging and stuff. I don't think he's like self-aware in regards to like what he's doing physically either. It's like he's always having like this out of body experience or something. Like his body's just like moving on its own. His eyes are like going crazy. His face is doing these weird things. He's like scratching at his face and then picking his ear and then rubbing his eye right after, and really gross shit like that. And it's just like, dude.
The one that gets me is even when he's doing some crazy thing to camera, he has to go and look at himself.
Oh my god,
every
dude!
time.
Oh god, don't.
Is that normal? Like, I have to ask, like, because I don't have a face cam, right? If you have a face cam, how often are you looking at yourself in OBS? Is that normal as much as he does it?
No, to be fair, like I put mine away so I can't do it because I do catch it. But what the difference Phil does is he only looks when it's something funny, right? He gets his face ready. He's like,
like
this is funny. Oh my god, I'm so funny.
Isn't it funny?
I'm so funny.
It's like the person over there is a separate entity, and he's just kind of making eye contact with them just to kind of.
Yeah, he's got like one audience member who just looks like him.
Yeah. It's really bad. It's like, and he does that new thing with the effects around the screen and stuff.
Oh Jesus, no!
Those are the most cringe thing of all time. They're never funny. And he's new thing where he just looks at the camera.
Yeah.
Huh? It's like, what the
then he's
fuck?
supposed to be making like faces. Look at me.
I don't know. Like, yeah, that I know we didn't even talk about that. I didn't even mark it down as a topic of conversation. That React he did for the game shit is just, it's so bad. It's like just skip it.
Literal, actual, unwatchable.
Yeah, so I just said skip it. I don't want to watch that, so I don't want to talk about it. So it's just really bad. Every game sucks. He knows about every game. He knows basically what every gaming company's strategy is, and he talks about how they're going against the strategy, why this is a bad idea. Nothing's a good idea unless it's Phil likes the game. I mean,
I love business side Phil. He really knows how shit works. It's really good thing.
He has a business degree, so he does know a lot about that. So we'll stand up for him there. But yeah, it's just really bad, not worth it. I gotta hear you guys' thoughts on this. Taking a picture of Phil, right, and putting it out there. Where do we feel about that on the spectrum of something that is okay to do to not okay to do as a detractor? Peace, we'll start with you because you're the guest. What do you think about that? Taking a picture of the wife, putting it on the internet, is this a good thing? Is this okay? Is this moral? What do you think?
I think it's fine. I mean, it's the same where it's like, I mean, if he's out in public, I mean, you go out in public. I mean, like, look, like when you've got like paparazzi stalking people and shit, I'm like, I don't think that's cool. You know?
Yeah.
Well, like in that sense, again, if DSP literally had a guy following him around taking pictures all the time, like, I'm not gonna go on KF and like White Knight for DSP or whatever. Like, you could chalk it up to karmic balance or something like that. He's a piece of shit, so now he's got a freaking weird, creepy stalker following him around. I don't know, but like at the same time, I would say that dude's a weird, creepy stalker.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's one of those things, and like, yeah, I mean, I mean, if you think of the context of the picture as it's presented, it's like super okay. Some dude randomly sees him, like, hey, it's the guy. He takes a picture, and then he's talking to someone randomly a year later. It's like, hey, I happen to have this picture. It's like, I mean, it's like it's the same thing where it's like, evidence that is found in the garbage is legally admissible because it's in a public space and accessible, right? And so DSP is in a public space and accessible, and you have a picture taken, and now you got a picture taken. I'm sorry your wife turned into a literal whale, but you were in public and you got a picture taken of you. Sorry.
Say, what do you think about that?
Yeah. Well, I think, like you say, touching on paparazzi, etc. He is something of a public figure, and if you are at a certain level of celebrity, even not that much of a celebrity, to be honest, then you have to. It's just part of your everyday life. You would have to expect it. And he's quite a famous guy, really. His numbers don't really reflect that. He should be more famous than he is, by his own, to look at his channel's, subscriber count and all that. I think a lot more people obviously know who he is versus what his channel shows. But the thing with him is that the intention, if you're going to do that, is nearly always going to be negative, isn't it? You're never going to take a picture of Darkside Phil for anything other than fucking look at this.
It's the guy.
It's him. He's in the wild. I've seen him. So he is immediately going to jump to it's a bad thing, and in that respect, I can't say I blame him, but it's just because it's so weird, to see it or to hear about it.
You think anyone has ever asked him for an autograph in public? Like they walked up to him?
Hey, it's the guy. Can I get a signature, please?
That's like, I don't know. Like if I'm just saying, what do I do if I saw Phil walking in the street? Like I want to say something, but I don't want to be. I wouldn't like be dick like there. I might say like that might be a good way to like. All right, I got Phil's autograph. Look at this. Sure,
yeah.
You could positively interact. Positive interaction.
I wonder if he would. I wonder if he would entertain giving an autograph to. Does he assume that literally everybody's out to kill him? Every single
that's a good
person
point.
ever.
Good point. He might get so scared right away. Like whoa. What if like you just gave $1? Like, hey Phil, really like stuff.
Sorry, it's gonna be. I need another 49 cents to cover that PayPal.
Yeah, no PayPal fees here, Phil. Here's $1. Yeah. All right. So and I think the picture, it's the picture. It's out there now. Kat looks the way she does now. You can make judgments on that as you wish. I think Phil's gonna bring it up when it's convenient for him, as he always does. We're gonna find out though. You're right though. Peace made a great point. That will hurt the ego. He has to admit that his wife has gotten larger in it, however you put it, and that's not Phil is everything's the best with Phil. He got the wife's hot as shit. It's incredible. That's not true anymore. So hey, he's gonna have to. That'll be interesting because for a future show maybe. I do want to talk about Peace. You mentioned earlier the thank you, the worst thank you video of all time, where it's like how tone deaf do you have to be to understand that things were not going well through the week. He had a $7 day, and then like 2 days later, he got the thank you for supporting. What do you think the strategy was behind that? Was there any correlation with getting a lot of money for that? What do you think?
I think he's trying something new, honestly. I mean, it's clear to me who that's directed, to. He's presumably noticed this, but maybe he hasn't. I don't know. Like he's literally only got like whales remaining, right?
Yeah.
Whales and I don't know, Slayer, I guess. Who I guess he technically is a whale actually at this point. But like I think he's just trying to think of a way to circle the wagons, honestly, because like it should be pretty obvious, if not already obvious at this point, where like, dude, you're not going to get anybody new. Your streams are unwatchable for an average human being. So like that's why this react shit, I mean, like maybe he's trying to like find weird, like the wings react, for example, like, oh, maybe I can get some wings people like 672 to give me money, like that. Like he's trying to find a different well to tap here. So until he can really do that, he needs to keep anybody from leaving, because like a single whale leaving ends up like he loses 10 to 15% of his income plus from one person leaving. Like he's in a very precarious position right now. And so I think this is a like throw everything in the kitchen sink at it. Like, oh, I've never made a thank you video. Let's see if this works. And I don't know, maybe it'll work. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think it's anything too deep. I think, he realizes that he's come across as an ungrateful twat recently, and he just wants to keep his fans on side.
No.
He's been giving them probably the wrong impression, and let's try this thank you thing. But yeah, very cringy.
Yeah, just for me, it sounded like just another big video. Just different look to it, right? Just like, oh, thanks for your support. I really need your support. I really appreciate it. But whatever. You mentioned Slayer. I do want to bring up that a little mini odyssey because that is just so weird to me. How now, Peace, you know better than me. Slayer is owed a video because that Patreon goal is still live. The $50 personal thing. How is? Okay, so that's anyone could do that. Right tomorrow, I could say, hey Phil, here's $50 a month. I get a private video. That's still like in writing.
And the thing is, you get it every month. I don't know how many personal videos you need, but Patreon is a recurring subscription, so you get one every month. Like DSP really, with Slayer, he bit off a lot more than he can chew. I think he's gonna he's really gonna find that he's quite a handful, I think.
Yeah, just for the past, let's give Phil credit. He used to do those a lot, and then remember, not to get too lore right here, but when Phil had to block all the videos for some reason, and he made them for AdSense, and he'd put them back all live. He just did a mass make all my videos live again, so you could see all those personal videos he made. They were out there, and some people kept them all. They're archived. And he really took his time. I was surprised how he put some time into those. He's like, all right, well, I'm going to do it. He really answers the questions thoughtfully and stuff. So he really does that. I just don't see current Phil doing that. So I was just surprised that is still on the table. He's still making those because, he
hasn't updated his Patreon goals in like a billion. Like I think it still references Twitch on there. So if anything, it's like he actively says that Patreon is just like another way to support him. It's just another scam that he runs, right? So
yeah, like why not?
like he has, I guess he has to have goals there. I don't know. I don't know if you do or not with Patreon specifically, but like, you know, nevertheless, it's a legacy goal that's existed, and he kind of throws it out randomly. It's like that thing where it's like, you know, if you collect 7 million Pepsi points, they'll give you an F-22 Raptor, or that whole thing. It's just like kind of there. They don't expect people to actually do it. He doesn't expect people to ask him for shit. Just give me the money. And now Slayer, he's like, he wants him to watch K-pop videos and react to them. Like he wants a mini DSP reacts.
Yeah,
like he wants specific things. It's very, very weird, but it's really funny. I'm actually glad that it's happening because I want to see how this plays out. Because like asking DSP to do any amount of work is like the #1 cardinal sin. You cannot ask him to do things for you. You give him money and you shut up. That's how it works. That's the relationship. But Slayer's like, I want this and this, and hey, I'm gonna put it on my channel after you send it to me. And I'm like, dude. And DSP's like, he's like, I don't have time to do it, Slayer. I'll do it when I get a chance. And it's like, well, be glad he's in Singapore.
I think for me, the telling thing is the fact that he was willing to address it and actually answer the questions on stream, which I don't know if he's ever. I don't know if this has ever come up before, this sort of thing. But yeah, I would say, you know, the fact that he's willing to address something as bizarre as this to his live audience maybe tells something about how desperate he is. Maybe I don't know.
Like this,
that's really.
For me, this really feels very, very weird. And like, it's like Slayer, I don't know, you know, I don't know anything about him, but if you see the messages, it's very directed. He has a very, very, let's say, a stable idea of what he wants in this video. And it feels like one of those dudes that, you know, pay $50 to a cam girl's site and say, okay, I want you to wear this outfit. I want you to talk to me like this. I want you to do this. It feels like that, right? Like, this video is going to be doing some work, and I'm not sure that work is all, you know, above board. It's, I think it's very weird.
Yes. Slayer says he wants to put it on his freaking channel and next to his worthless Sims videos, I guess, and Red Dead Redemption 2 videos. So that ought to be fun. I can't wait.
I don't know what Phil commenting on something he has no idea about. I mean, he's never going to do it, I don't think. I mean, he has to, I guess, but this has hit me kind of weird. I was like, oh, I don't like how this is going. I don't like the feeling of this, you know?
Yeah, because that's the other thing actually that I hadn't considered is that historically for his react so far, he's put in some research, but is this going to be the first one that he just sticks at?
Actually reacts to.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I'd not even thought of that.
His first real react. Awesome.
Yeah, exactly. And also, this kind of goes back to as well. So does that mean now, presumably, that Slayer is one of these half detractor, half, you know, ironic viewers? Because if he's willing to post it on his channel, then he's feeding us essentially, isn't he? You know, that what other reason would you do that?
I don't think so. I think that he's as pure of an unironic fan as like Derek is. I mean, okay. Derek's not pure in the conventional sense, but pure in the sense of a DSP fan. I think what it is, like try to get if you try to like put yourself in the mind of Slayer, and it's extremely difficult and you may not recover from it, but like if you were to do that, right? Like Slayer looks up to DSP, right? It's clear. He wants DSP to react to these specific videos because he values what DSP thinks about it, right? Like, sure, man. Like if I don't know, if I had the stream, like let's say like I watch Day 9. Man, Day 9's a great guy, and I want him. I want to see what he thinks about, I don't know, this weird anime thing or something. You know, like I'd be like, oh, that's cool. I value Day 9's opinion. Maybe it'll be interesting. And so I think the reason Slayer's saying he wants to put it up on his channel is maybe it's like I don't think he's got any ulterior motive. I think it's like, I mean, it's my video. Like, you know, I paid for it, and DSP's a great guy, and I want more people to see. It's like this thing he did for me, right? And it should go on my channel. So, I think he just likes him a lot, and the videos, it's like a badge of honor almost, and like it's great. I'm like, dude, it's just another money thing. It's just another money thing, Slayer. Come on.
Come on, Slayer. All right. I do think it's time we get into a few questions from the audience. So if you have any questions for Piece of Peace or us, let them go now. We're going to get to the ones that were in Meerkat's stream Discord here. I should have got them ready before, but of course I did not. So you're going to lose video for a second here. And we are back. Okay. Sam, I'm going to ask you to read the questions, if I could. because it's gonna mess up my streaming too much. So go ahead. Nothing I could do.
Okay. Just a second. Sorry, guys. Be there in a moment.
I don't think there's any other big news to hit on this week. I think that was all I had. But yeah, we got some good time for questions. Go ahead, Sam.
Right. Okay. So, where do we begin? We've had quite a few actually. This one I quite liked actually to begin with. This is a big one and one that I think everyone's asked. But if tomorrow Phil were to go on his stream and come completely clean, admitting to every single scam and accusation against him, would it be the end of him? If he did this to wipe the slate clean and try to rebuild himself and his reputation, do you think the trolling would stop? Would this change your personal opinion of him, or has the damage already been done? That's from Hasty.
Go ahead, Peace.
So yeah, I mean, I want like, people need to obviously, like, this is a great hypothetical, but you know, there's some people who really, I mean, like, that's bullshit's probably one of them, right? They think he's capable of reform and being a good person. I don't think so. I've lost all hope for him completely. In a not even in a cynical sort of way. I just think that's kind of the reality we live in. But yeah, if like, all it takes honestly is, like, DSP seems to think that people troll him because he's like bad at video games or like something to that effect. I mean, maybe that was the case. I mean, like, if you like that's how you don't play. I mean, even that's how you don't play. It wasn't just because he was bad at the games, because he was like obnoxious about it. And he, you know, it's nothing I can do and all that stuff, which is not the game's. It's a personality issue. But all he needs to do is to just like put in an earnest effort and just stop being so extra. Just like be a normal person and stop being a piece of shit. The only thing that gives people like me motivation to like follow him, like, I don't follow everyone who's bad at video games. I don't care about that, dude. Shit, like I'm not great at video games, but like it's all the other stuff, all the negative stuff. It's like he's a tumor, you know? And it's like you have this like this autistic desire to either fix it or make it go away or something, you know. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, I've since, like, unless he has some sort of weird ego death where he like goes on mushrooms and goes on some weird trip or something, I don't know if he's capable of positive change. So
yeah, I would say even if he does do that, let's just pretend the miracle happens and he does do that. It won't matter. It won't be the end of him for sure, because you know, his people that like him now know all the stuff. It's so easy to see what. You know, the truth about Phil, and how much Phil has said himself in the last week. He said, how much did he lie about? So much. There's so much lying, and you know, they don't care. So I don't think if he came clean, a lot of people see that as positive, right? See, Phil did it. Yeah. Phil made the changes he needed to make this thing going. So yeah, it wouldn't be the end of him by any
probably
means.
In his benefit in a lot of ways, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like the people who are already pignatized, they give him more money because they feel good, and you know. I don't know. Some people seem to think that detractors purely keep them afloat, and I don't know. Maybe to some extent, sure. I mean, maybe the ironic trolls or the ironic tippers or whatever, like maybe. But that isn't to say that like they wouldn't stick around anyway. It's all hypothetical, right?
Yeah, I know. I don't think the interest of Phil is just because he has done bad stuff. I think it's because Phil was being Phil. It would still be interesting to follow him if he did come clean, because I mean, maybe it'll get so boring that no one's gonna watch it anyway. But I don't know. But Sam, you can answer that too, though. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to quickly say, I think I don't think this is ever going to happen, but if it did, or if he tried to, I think it would just shatter his reality too much. I really do think he perceives the world in this very odd way, you know, and he believes all of the stuff that he says. But assuming he, you know, let's say he did, hypothetically, I personally would still be fascinated to see what happened next, and I don't think it would change anything. It certainly wouldn't change the way I felt about it, because now I would just want to know what happened next. You know, I think everyone would still follow what went on for pretty much the same reason. So that's all I got to say.
There you go. Next question, Sam. Hit us.
Right. Okay. This is very much for peace, I feel. But will the pig get away with the taxes he owes until he dies, or will the tax department go after him to collect? Appreciate all you do, Pop, and enjoy your streams. That's from Starling Gish.
Thank you. So I think this is corroborated by things he's said and stuff. So it seems like what he's doing right now is he's continuously, I don't know, paying some amount, some not a lot. I don't know, maybe none, but I think some amount. And when it comes tax time, he just rolls it over into another payment plan.
Yeah.
Right. And it seems I have to wonder if it's like the same payment plan or if it's just like multiple separate payment plans. It seems like it's more like that. Like if you look at the bank leaks, he's got separate 500 and 750 transactions kind of like monthly. That seems like a payment plan sort of deal to me. But
yep.
But yeah, like in any case, I don't think he's going to change strategies of doing that. It's just going to be continuously like roll over. And honestly, if he continues to make the same amount of money, that strategy, as long as the IRS allows it, would theoretically work because, payment plans generally are going to last like 3 years, I think. I don't know how long it can be, 3 to 5 years maybe, but like let's say 3 years, I think is what the last one was. And like as long as because he makes a good amount of income, right? Like he makes anywhere from like $8,000 to $10,000 a month pre-tax. And I mean, he just takes the tax that he would pay and he puts it into this stupid payment plan that has some, like not a lot of interest. I think it's like 2%. It's like really low, I mean, that's a way to go. It's cheaper than a credit card, I guess. So as long as he continues making those payments on those payment plans and the IRS continues to allow him to do it, the thing is that if he ever takes a significant dip in income and he doesn't cut back on his expenses, like meaning the DoorDash and the WWE champions especially, because he would have he'd have like $3,000-4,000 in disposable income every single month if he cut back on his vices, right? And this is assuming Kat doesn't have a job, which people speculate she doesn't anymore. But but if he continued his spending and then his income suddenly took a big drop, which is, I don't know, maybe that's why he's freaking out, because he really can't have that happen, because these payment plans, like if he doesn't make these payments, like they shatter. He's got a problem. He's got a really big problem now, and like it's this kicking the can down the road, and eventually it's gonna probably happen, right? Like I don't know, OIC is gonna get hit by a bus or something, or like something's gonna happen to one of these whales and he's gonna take a big dip in income, and it's like he's got less people who needs to shoulder the burden, and his expenses aren't, I'm not just talking about his goddamn cherry juice, right? Like his HOA increases by like 10% every month, it seems like when I first looked at it, it was like 290 or something. Like now it's like almost 400.
Wow.
If not more. And so
wow.
And he's got a mortgage with like, I think it's like a 5% flat interest rate, like a non-variable interest rate. And so he can't refinance because his credit's shit. He could have refinanced and dropped it down to a 2 or 2.5. He didn't do that because he's dumb. But like all these things. So he's very he's got 2 internet lines when he only needs 1. He throws away $240 like every single month. That's assuming the price hasn't gone up on those things. Like my own cell phone bill has gone up a little bit like recently, like they just increased it. And so yeah, they like inflation is going to affect him. He may not notice it right away other than the goddamn cherry juice, but like the whales need to keep pace. Hopefully they don't have their own expenses.
Yeah, I hope not. I mean, Phil is very much on a deck of cards here, a house of cards, right? If income goes down by a little bit, right? It's fine if he stops playing the games and stops the DoorDash, but we know Phil can't say no to anything, right? It's not going to happen, right? It's just not. So that'll be interesting because at some point he does have to grow up in how he spends money, right? It has to happen, right? So it has to happen or move back in with the parents, right? That's his options when his income does go down, right?
I think it's a feedback loop too. I have this suspicion. I don't have any way to prove it right now because I'm not going to look into it. But I think that he probably uses DoorDash and alcohol and like WWE champions probably the most as like a coping mechanism. So like as his stress level increases, I would expect that his spending in those categories would also increase alongside of it, right? Like to deal with the reality that he's facing, because all he wants to do is like hide from the world, and he wants to hide from the fact that he owes taxes and has a mortgage and all this shit, and that's how he does it. So it's like almost like if it falls apart, it'll really fall apart. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's my thought.
Yep. Anything to add there, Sam? Or next question? Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to quickly say I'm in the same boat as the person asking the question. I don't know anything about the US tax department or the UK one really, but in short, I feel like he would just get away with it because he gets away with everything.
Let me ask that piece. That it's kind of, is it strange though that tax has not entered into his toolbox of begging for a while now? It has just not been a thing. When that used to be the main tool, right? That was his like go-to tool, was taxes coming up. Now we don't hear about taxes at all. It's kind of strange, like someone else pointed out in the chat.
Yeah. I mean, he used to have dedicated like tax begathons, right?
Yeah.
He did bring it up like in the sense that like, oh yeah, no tax. Like he brings it up kind of more casually, I guess, but still with some level of like emphasis. Just not. It is significantly less than before. And again, like he literally had dedicated tax begathons. I think what made the difference was the bankruptcy. So like after the bankruptcy, he like, this was even prior to the bankruptcy, I guess, a little bit. I think like literally maybe the year before or the year prior to that. But like he started getting on these like tax payment plans. Like he realized that they exist. It's just another credit card he can max out, right? And so I feel like ever since he realized that he can just throw it into a goddamn like tax payment plan and not owe $14,000 at once or whatever, it's been less stressful in that case. But what he doesn't realize is that, I mean, if you look at a balance sheet, these are still liabilities, that he owes. It's just like spread out over a longer period of time, which is why he needs those whales to keep opening those Velcro wallets. He really has to. There's no other choice. He has to get that money. Otherwise he is, he's fucked.
Yeah. And we see like, we all know how ridiculous those begging videos are, guys. But reason he's doing that, reason he has thrown away all sense of like shame, is because, like P says, he really has to have the money coming in. And if you're any of us out there are forced with losing our income or actually I still wouldn't do it. I think most of us here wouldn't do it. But some people might say, fuck it, I can't be homeless, so I got to beg, right? And that's what Phil's choosing with. That's why Phil's making that choice to endlessly beg, and he endlessly is scared of that, what's going to happen, because...
Well, the alternate decision that most of us would make, the third choice, if you will, is we would stop spending money on WWE champions and all this other bullshit. We would downsize in some sort of capacity, right? Like you can, he's got a lot of expenses to cut. Oh my God, I can optimize his shit so much, but I'm not going to. Not unless he pays me. But like, so that's what he should do, but he's not willing to, because then the trolls win, right? If he has to cut down on his lifestyle at all, then the trolls have won, and we can't have that. So,
yes, yep.
So keep giving me money, please. Thanks.
I'd actually be kind of interested to see a kind of semi-ironic PieceofPeace video where you literally do that, where you pick apart everything and optimize everything.
I do that on my restreams, there's pieces of that, right? But there's a lot he can do. Like I can probably save him like almost 1,000, maybe close to that, maybe like 700 to 1,000 of completely wasted fucking money. That includes his trips to the dump. He can save money on that he's not doing. his extra internet line that he throws away. So much dumb shit.
There's one thing as watching Phil 3 years, I've learned, like there's no, like when Phil moved in the house, it's a great example. He got the new house, moved in, there was like an empty room they weren't using. And like, I can't remember the line, I'll have to search for it. But Phil was like, yep, we got to fill this room. I bought the furniture for this room. But if you buy a new house and you're tight on money already, we know that's when he opened up most of the credit cards during that time period. You might say like, all right, we can leave this room empty for a while. But that's just not an option, right? Those kind of things normal people think about is like, okay, that's going to be a guest room. We'll figure it out later. Phil's like, all right, we got to buy the furniture for that room now. And he's already on credit cards.
Mattress. Jesus, dude.
Yeah, just Phil does not think like that in any way, right? And just
he's admitted he doesn't think ahead,
Yeah. And what's the fucking pizza story? It's like, how can you keep begging when you get we didn't get shit pizza. We didn't get the kind of fast food pizza. We went for nice pizza. It's like, what's going on? That seems like a little bit out of character.
That's an ego thing. That's part of his ego. He's in this constant state of, I have no money and I'm awesome and I'm successful. It's like these two like opposing forces, but they're like, it's like Schrodinger's goddamn like successor or something. He needs to both be successful to own the trolls, but he needs to not have money so that he can keep begging for it. It's insanity, dude.
Yeah. I felt like that was a little bit of Steve of the Dead there. So I'd love to get you two on the same like call.
Same show, yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be sweet.
Right, next. Based Boglim says, I've always had a theory that Dave is addicted to lotto scratchers. We know he's a gacha addict. Scratchers are basically IRL gotchas. In the bank leaks, when we see his spending, he spends in the same day and a lot at Fred Meyer, the grocery store and the pet store. I don't know how he spends so much and still orders out food. All these places have scratchers, $20 at each place. Makes sense. What do you think of my lotto theory?
That's a deep lore dive. I mean, it's possible, but anything you want to add, Peace? It's possible.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the most I can say is it's possible. I mean, he can be buying Apple iTunes gift cards at Fred Meyer. They sell those there.
Yeah.
So what he's actually physically purchasing at the store, I mean, you know, you need a lot of calories to gain 100 pounds, Cat, you know. Yeah, so maybe a lot of that money went to that. I don't know.
We never know.
Went to macaroni and cheese, potatoes, but yeah, ultimately it's speculation. It's possible, but I don't know if there's lore of him saying he loves lotto scratchers or something like that. I do remember some random deep lore where he said he bought a lotto ticket every week or something. I don't know if I hallucinated that lore.
Oh, okay.
Or something.
Going deep.
But I feel like if Proper was here or something, maybe I can ask him. But I feel like that's something that he said before. For some reason, but yeah, I mean, obviously his idea of how odds work is completely fucked at this point. So whatever,
we have got a chat saying that we are on Big Tweet Watch, so I'm watching Phil's Twitter feed. If he does do that big tweet, I'll let you guys know. Nice. Two questions from chat I want to talk about. 1 Minute Man tipping, is that Phil or is that trying to generate tips? We talked about that earlier, so go watch the on-demand version of this to answer that. But basically, we're not really sure. We do think it's 1 Minute Man, not actually Phil. Another question. Fred Fox, hero or villain? Well, of course, I think villain because how he ended that thing and how he wanted to have such a stranglehold on the whole Phil universe makes him a villain. Not to say they didn't have some entertaining stuff, but there's a lot of bad stuff too. Anyone else would comment on that? Fred Fox? Any?
I'm still the whole Sons of Kojima is still as much as I try and learn about it, I'd still a massive sort of blind spot for me, so I don't really have too much to say.
Have you seen the Ex Mortis video on it, Sam?
Yes, I've listened to it in the background. I'm gonna say, I mean, the obvious answer is villain. But, you know.
Yeah, Peace. Any?
I mean, similarly, if I ended up doing a bunch of dumb shit, like I would hope that people would categorize me as a villain.
Yes.
Like it's
true.
It's like what you can completely taint any sort of good that you may have done by being a piece of shit, and everyone should be held to that standard.
Exactly. Yep. And smaller note, but if you ever want to prove to us that you don't watch our show, please compare us to the SOK because there's no comparison with the stuff we do. I love when I get those comments. There's only been a couple, but they're like, "Oh, that's okay. It's back." Like, yeah, a little bit different than what they did. I think it's safe to say, my friends. But anyways, Sam, any last questions? Should we we should be winding down here. But any questions left?
Yeah, there's one more. Unless you want me to read the funny one. I don't know if we need to touch on that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Do you want me to ask that one?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. Do you think Phil blasted nut into his jammies during the incident?
Okay, well now it's a great question. It's a valid question. Clearly there was no napkin usage. I mean, that is clear. That much is very clear. It was just I think it went right into the undies, and then after the stream you deal with it. That's what I think personally. But Peace, I love your opinion there as well.
I will admit I have never watched that video in its entirety. It's a little too much for me, I think. But I obviously being in the detractor sphere, I've seen enough clips of it to presumably piece together the entire video at this point.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, shit, I don't know. Like is it like for sure that he didn't have like anything there, like a fucking sock or something? I don't know.
He could have. That's a good point.
Sock. Like, I don't know if his hands were always in view or some shit like that, where like he just had a. Oh my god, this is insane. Oh my god, I can't believe he did that.
Yeah.
Off on stream in front of children.
Well, yeah. I think, do you know what? Given how he looks in that video, he looks like he's just woken up. He's clearly not showered. He probably doesn't give two fucks about how he looks, you know, or how clean he is. So I'm going to say he probably, you know, wherever it went, it just stayed there. So,
anyways,
on to the next one. this is the last one from DJ Runo. Imagine Phil wakes up tomorrow full of motivation, is eager to learn from other content creators and starts putting out videos comparable to the edited DSP's best games of 2021 that someone made a few months ago. Would it be possible for him to save the business, or is his image too broken already? Ignoring, of course, that he would never get himself to this anyway. I don't
Like
know.
he wouldn't actually do that, I guess. Right.
I mean, yeah, if he changes too much, I mean, people are going to leave, so he can't change too much. You know, the business of Phil is not business of gaming. It's business of financial problems that he has to solve every time. That's what he's selling, right? Is drama in every different way, right? So it's money drama. It's what trolls are trying out to get us drama. It's never about gaming, even though as much as he tries to make you think it is. And you know, I love this. I love this piece. I know in your late streams, you've seen this way more than me. When he says, like, he tries to wonder why the chips are low. And like he has to talk, you know, just pig-splain it to death. Like, well, this game, it's not a new game. It came out last week, so maybe people are into it. The characters I just don't like. And like he goes to these like how the ends of the earth in his mind to find a reason that people are tipping. But like it could just be there's not enough people there or whatever. But it's so crazy how I know you've heard way more than me. These ridiculous explanations of why people aren't tipping is so stupid. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, if you like his I pulled up his previous schedule. Like he embedded a beg into his schedule after that, like that $7 stream. It's like, important update. For some reason, my second session of Del Quarry on Friday was tied for my least supported stream ever, and I'm not quite sure why. This is obviously a concern for a brand new release, which I'm continually playing over this weekend. If you can, please swing by on Saturday and support either stream, and thank you. Right? I don't know. It's and I don't know if you saw that clip by Hate Army Watch, also known as Cult of Hate now.
Yeah, yeah.
Where he's like, they mentioned like inflation. He's like, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Inflation, like people gave me money earlier this week. What are you talking? Like, dude, you need a goddamn frying pan to the head or something. Like, seriously.
Well, you know why? That's an actual reason it could be. So he can't have that. He can't have that enter the consciousness of the people watching. That's real toxic. You can't have real reasons, right? They are not that should not enter the sphere of Phil's, what he's trying to spew every day. It can't be there. And that was really telling when he was like, inflation, are you fucking, he didn't say it, but he's like, are you fucking nuts? What the fuck are you saying inflation for?
That's the dumbest thing he's ever heard.
Yeah.
That's like, is that really the dumbest thing you've ever heard? Because like I can go to the BBC right now, like, and the number one story on their top 10 is inflation reaches 40-year high in the United States. It's literally number one. Oh, that's the dumbest thing you've ever heard. Every headline says that. It's like 8.6% right now or some shit. Go fuck yourself.
That's just like the cult thing, right? Any real life, doesn't want real life to enter into this cult group, right? Don't let the real life come in. And that's a big thing we learned about that cult video someone put out. Where like, I set the rules here, I set the boundaries, and I choose what from the real world comes into our world, right? And that's a big one right there. That was very, very telling, guys. If you want to watch that back, he says like, whoa, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Like but really, let's be real. Like, it affects a lot of people, and it's serious, man. That's really bad.
It just shows how little empathy he has.
Yeah, he doesn't give a fuck. That got me a little angry too. I mean, when you're, Phil being ridiculous and begging, sometimes it's like whatever, sometimes it's funny. But when you say that's kind of hit me the wrong way. When it's like some people are really fucking hurting, and when you say that, it's what about I know there's some of his real fans, guys, out there that are like really hurting money wise, and they like
Jax should be one of them.
Yeah,
like he commutes to work. He has a shitty car, I guess, that he is shitty because he gave all his money to Speed. Like he pays for gas, like fuel, right? And like I guess he can go fuck himself. You better keep giving me my money. And it's like, this is why people fuck with him, and this is why I don't care if people run gay ops on him, because he's a reprehensible person.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
That's like, what did that person think, Jax? What are you thinking? I mean, he doesn't give a shit about you, and he makes
I love it. Thank you, Daddy. I love it. Give me more, please.
The Phil tweet did come out. It's kind of anticlimactic, but I will read it anyway. Wow! Just finished my live reaction to Xbox Bethesda. Now I have a lot to say about this event and my recap reactions. Now on break, but join me at noon for the second half while I break it all down for you. No bag. What was the donation total there, chat? Is that why there was no bag? Or is it just, maybe he's listening. He knows we're waiting for it.
Yeah, maybe. Let's see. It's at, he's at 12 out of 50. That ain't good.
Oh, well.
At least he's got his 25 coming in.
Yeah, it's coming in a little bit later. All right, well, I guess I will go to the final question I like to ask, and this is from someone in chat. Sam, you don't have to answer this time because we already know your opinion. We asked it last week, but I do want Peace's idea. How do you think Phil is going to end, right? How does DSP Gaming end? Not saying like he turns to a React channel or something, but how is it where we don't see Phil streaming anymore? What is it going to take? What is that going to happen? What do you think that looks like? Obviously, we're all guessing, but what do you think, Peace?
Assuming that we're not talking about like a global annihilation type scenario, it's specifically how he ends.
Yes.
I would say that, let's see, he's what, 40 now?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Boogie's still alive. He's like 48. So, I mean, I don't think he's going to like necessarily die anytime soon, like have a heart attack on stream or anything like that. It's going to be one of two ways, right? Either because like, he's not going to stop doing what he's doing. So people need to understand that he has nothing else to do. So maybe he buys scratchers and wins $5 million and tells everyone to fuck themselves and stop streaming, right? Maybe that's a way. But like outside of like a weird scenario like that, either his whales get bored and move on / die horribly and stop giving him money, and he just slowly kind of peters out. That he's not going to stop streaming. He can be making $20 a day. He's not going to stop streaming. He's got nothing else going for him. What's he going to do? Work at Walmart? Like, he's not going to do that. That's a job. I don't work. I don't do jobs. That's what poor people do. I stream. So he's not going to do that. Either that, or he's just going to like, I don't know, get diabetes from all the cherry juice and then have a coronary and die somehow. I don't know, man. Have a DVT. It's hard to say, man. Like the human body's pretty resilient. So I even as unhealthy as he is, it's pretty unlikely that he's just gonna like drop dead on stream or something like that. And I don't think he's going to stop streaming. So like people on KF make a point of this. It's most likely he's just going to slowly fade into antiquity or something like that.
Yeah, that seems to be that's what we all agreed with too. It's going to end. All it takes is a few whales leaving, and then he's done with that. But he's probably going to keep streaming anyway. We should say though, Peace, you didn't give Phil credit here. He is working on his power walking, and he's getting a lot better. So his health is right. It's on the up. Stocks are going up for Phil's health. All right, so let's get serious here. Now he can go to the mailbox.
Imagine not being 80 and saying I power walk. Imagine that.
And you do hear the one yesterday was like, I went to the mailbox and I wasn't even that winded.
Like, oh, you weren't even that winded? Wow. Like, unless your mailbox is literally on a 90-degree cliff going straight up, I don't.
Yeah, and
I don't know what to tell you, dude.
Literal. Okay, listen. Literal fact. I'm doxing myself a little bit here, but my wife's grandma is still alive. She's 99 years old, and you know what her exercise is? Getting the mail every day. She's 99 years old, and I'm not sure how winded she is, of course, but. Wow, that was something. And Phil thinks this is something to brag about, by the way.
This talks about his self-awareness, honestly, that he's like, it's the same thing with his stupid grocery store story. He doesn't, like, I think like Bill Gates was asked a question one time. He's like, how much do you think it was like a banana or something? He's like, like $20 or something. Like
yeah.
How like out of touch with just how the normal, plebs are, I guess. And I guess that's where DSP is. He doesn't understand what sounds pathetic. And he thinks like, oh, like I can't walk to my mailbox that's 10 feet away without getting winded, but I somehow did 25 push-ups in 30 seconds and I'm not even breaking a sweat. Oh man, that was so tough. All right. You said you'd give me $100 if I did it. I said I'd give you $100 if I can you do it again on camera? I'm not going to do that. Fuck you. Get banned. The pinnacle of health.
Sam, you got one more question for Peace? Go ahead.
Yeah, it's not a massive thing. It's not even really a question, but I have someone excited for you to talk, Peace, about your face touch counting system. Make of that what you will, but I'd be a bad person if I didn't at least.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Mention it.
So the way my restreams are traditionally structured are, we do the restream. There's like a bet for what BegCon level he gets, like the highest BegCon level he achieves. So we bet like channel points for that. Right. BegCon 4, 3, 2, 1, or 0, code black. And then after that, we will generally stick around for the daily wrap. And one of my Jannies, Rogeezy, big ups to Rogeezy. He one time he talked about like, dude, he touches his face a lot, and like Rogeezy was like kind of counting it because it was so freaking weird how often he touched his face. And so I kind of incorporated it into my own like stream culture, I guess, where we measure or we count how many face touches he does, and we ended up finding that
you know, he touches his face in different ways with different like levels and stuff. And so I had to autistically create like a rule set for what counted as a face touch. So like, you know, for example, when he's running his fingers through his hair, like he always does, like, does that count as a face touch? If so, is that like 10 when he runs his hand through his hair 10 times? But, you know, we ended up coming to the conclusion that, okay, well, until he breaks contact, then it's one face touch and all this stupid crap. But it's extremely fun. And you know, if DSP did this type of bullshit more often instead of just yelling at his chat all the time, I'm sure his streams would be fun too. But who knows?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I always think, is that he should embrace that kind of silliness, that kind of self-aware. You know, I know I do all this stupid stuff, but you know, let's make it a part of what I do. You know, why not? At the end of the day.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, my friends in chat and my friends in this room with me, we had a great talk here for almost 2 hours. Piece of Peace. He is the man behind the spreadsheet. Go follow him in every way possible. We're talking about YouTube, where he does restreams, and he doesn't just restream and say that's it. He does some interesting stuff on there. He keeps track of the bag cons, now I know he keeps track of the face touches. It's a really cool time. Usually Piece of Peace does the night streams, so yeah, just check him out there if you don't know. I'm sure all you know Peace that are in the chat here. Meerkat's not here, but please go in his Discord if you're not. That's where you get the questions for the week, and you can talk to us. And Meerkat, of course, streams himself all the time as well, so go follow Meerkat. And Fantastic Mr. Sam, of course, is on the show, and he needs to make a new video. It's coming out someday, he always says, but hopefully it's there.
Yeah.
Someday it's coming.
Looking forward to
it. It's coming. Self plug here on the. I am running the Twitter for the show. That being said, on Twitter, and I'm trying to make a thread of all the Phil's worst jokes. I have about 10 there. So if you have any more to share with me, reply on that thread. I'm going to put them in there. We've already found some scary stuff. And there you go. If you're not subscribed to the channel, of course, please subscribe to the channel. We're going to be back next Sunday. Meerkat's going to be back. We're going to have another awesome guest that will have to attempt to top Piece of Peace in the interesting side of things. We're going to see if he can do that. He or she can do that. And yeah, that's it, guys. Thanks so much for your time. And Piece of Peace. Keep rocking it. Fantastic Mr. Sam. I'll see you next week. And yeah, stay hype, everybody.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.